Today is Thursday, July 2nd. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on the Doctor's Opinion. We will read Roman numeral 16. Out of the 12 and 12, we are actually not on the introduction. I think we're on the foreword, which is page 16 of the book. And of course, we'll read the Just for Today and Courage to Change readings. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. It is my wife's birthday, and I've been giving her she's been giving me the hardest time because I am 40 now and she's holding on to 39. So, but happy birthday to my beautiful bride, my best friend. And it's just, we grew up together. We've been together since 2003, I think. So, man, she needs some kind of medallion for putting up with me that long. But yeah, happy birthday to my bride, and let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book in the Doctor's Opinion, we get part of the Doctor's Opinion where he says, hey, what these guys are saying, there's something to it. It says right here, the last part of this intro, these men may well have a remedy for thousands of such situations. You may rely absolutely on anything they say about themselves. And that's quite the endorsement from Dr. William D. Silkworth. So today we are going to introduce the second part of the Doctor's Opinion, where he talks about the allergy, the physical craving, and the mental obsession that we alcoholics have and that he's seen on display. So we'll go ahead and read Roman numeral 16. The physician who, at our request, gave us this letter has been kind enough to enlarge upon his views in another statement which follows. In this statement, he confirms what we who have suffered alcoholic torture must believe, that the body of the alcoholic is quite as abnormal as his mind. It did not satisfy us to be told that we cannot control our drinking just because we were maladjusted to life, that we were in full flight from reality, or were outright mental defectives. These things were true to some extent, in fact to a considerable extent with some of us. But we are sure that our bodies were sickened as well. In our belief, any picture of the alcoholic which leaves out the physical factor is incomplete. The doctor's theory that we have an allergy to alcohol interests us. As laymen, our opinion as to its soundness may, of course, mean little. But as ex-problem drinkers, we can say that its explanation makes good sense. It explains many things for which we cannot otherwise account. Though we work out our solution on the spiritual as well as the altruistic plane, we favor hospitalization for the alcoholic who's very jittery or befogged. More often than not, it is imperative that a man's brain be cleared before he is approached, as he has then a better chance of understanding and accepting what we have to offer. And tomorrow we'll get to a continuation of the Doctor's Opinion where he expands on the allergy of the physical craving of alcohol. So stay tuned for that. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on the foreword today. And this is an introduction of how the 12 and 12 came to be. So we are on page 15. Alcoholics Anonymous is a worldwide fellowship of more than 100,000 alcoholic men and women who are banded together to solve their common problems and help fellow sufferers in recovery from that age-old, baffling malady, alcoholism. This book deals with the 12 steps and 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. It presents an explicit view of the principles by which AA members recover and by which their society functions. AA's 12 steps are a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which, if practiced as a way of life, can expel the obsession to drink and enable the sufferer to become happily and usefully whole. AA's 12 traditions apply to the life of the fellowship itself. They outline the means by which AA maintains its unity and relates itself to the world about it, the way it lives and grows. Though the essays which follow were written mainly for its members, it is thought by many of AA's friends that these pieces might arouse interest and find application outside AA itself. Many people, non-alcoholics, report that as a result of the practice of AA's 12 steps, they've been able to meet other difficulties of life. They think that the 12 steps can mean more than sobriety for problem drinkers. They see in them a way to happy and effective living for many, alcoholic or not. NA just for today, July 2nd. Our personal stories may vary in individual pattern, but in the end, we all have the same thing in common. Basic text, page 87. We addicts are a varied bunch, coming from different backgrounds, having used different drugs and recalling different experiences. Our differences don't disappear in recovery. For some, those differences become even more pronounced. Freedom from active addiction gives us the freedom to be ourselves, as we truly are. The fact that we are all recovering doesn't mean that we all necessarily have the same needs or goals. Each of us has our own lessons to learn in recovery. With so many differences from one addict to the next, how do we help one another in recovery? And how do we use each other's experience? We come together to share our lives in light of the principles of recovery. Though our lives are different, the spiritual principles we apply are the same. It is by the light of these principles, shining through our differences, that we illuminate one another's way on our individual paths. We all have two things in common: addiction and recovery. When we listen carefully, we hear others tell of suffering from the same disease we have suffered from, regardless of their specific backgrounds. When we open our ears, we hear other addicts talk of applying spiritual principles that promise hope to us as well, regardless of our personal goals. Just for today, I have my own path to follow, yet I am grateful for the fellowship of others who suffered from addiction and who are learning to apply the principles of recovery just like me. Courage to Change, July 2nd. Al-Anon helps many of us to identify and change self-destructive behavior. In my case, procrastination was the source of a great deal of needless anxiety. But with Al-Anon's help, I have managed to recognize and change that pattern. As I learned to focus on myself, I began to pay attention to my own thoughts and feelings. When I felt anxious, I took the time to find out what was causing my discomfort. I realized that I had a habit of postponing unpleasant tasks until the last possible moment. Knowing that I would have to perform the task eventually, I found it hard to relax until it was done. I came to see that if I took care of the task right away, I could usually let go of anxiety and appreciate the rest of the day. Old habits can be hard to break. It didn't happen overnight. But as I became more willing to let go of procrastination, my life became more manageable and more enjoyable. Today's reminder: if I am getting in the way of my own best interests, a closer look at my behavior can lead to positive changes. By focusing on myself, I move toward freedom and serenity today. Do not look where you fell, but where you slipped. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. It's some beautiful stuff. I love in the 12 and 12, it's the third paragraph in the foreword. AA's 12 steps are a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which, if practiced, and I love that word practice, not perfected, but practice as a way of life. And the way I look at that part is each and every day as a way of life, not just a one-time thing and then we graduate and we're done. But practice as a way of life can do what? Expel the obsession to drink and enable the sufferer to become happily and usefully whole. So it's not just about expelling the obsession. Now, as we're going to read here in a little bit in the big book, in the doctor's opinion, we're going to learn about the physical allergy and the mental obsession, or the physical craving and the mental obsession. So the physical allergy is when, as soon as the alcohol hits our lips for an alcoholic, as soon as the alcohol hits my body, I'm like, oh, here we go. And I just want to drink more and more and more. And chase that feeling, that high, right? And even got to the point where I didn't want to drink. And that kind of leads to the mental obsession, right? I would wake up hungover the next day, panicked, wondering what I did from a blackout and everything. And I'd be like, I am never drinking again. Never. Even after my first time I said that, I am never drinking again. But then all of a sudden the rationalization begins. Well, dude, you just went a little too crazy, just drink a little less this time. Or, come on, man, you're upset. You don't want to feel this right now. Why don't you have a drink? Or, hey, man, it's been a great day. Let's go watch the Flyers game and have a couple of beers. And before long, this is where the mental obsession for me kicked in. Before long, even though I swear I would never have another drink, my mind would rationalize it. And it was subtle sometimes. Things like, oh, Rob, you're not an alcoholic, buddy. You're just depressed. Alcohol's not the problem. Just have another drink, man. Come on. Live a little. That's what my brain would say. So, sure enough, I have that first drink. And before long, I'm in the same mess I was in before. So there's the physical allergy when as soon as that alcohol hits the body, I just need more and more. And the mental obsession for me was rationalizing. My whole life revolved around that drink. Once I get these chores done, now I can drink. And it even got to the point where I didn't want to drink, but I felt like I had to. So that's the first part of the steps, right? If practice as a way of life can expel the obsession to drink. But there's more. And enable the sufferer to become happily and usefully, I love this word, whole. I always heard the old phrase, to make whole, be whole. These spiritual principles, as it's suggested in the foreword of the 12 and 12, they don't just get rid of the obsession to drink. If we practice these spiritual principles every day in our daily lives, we can be happy. I like the word joy. I feel like joy is rich because we can have joy even in the hard times. We can choose it, right? And we could be useful to others instead of being the leech that I once was. And then the last word, whole. We're no longer filling the missing pieces with alcohol, but rather with our higher power, whatever that looks like for us. To be happily and usefully whole, sober living, being clean is a lot more than not drinking or using. Great stuff. So my friends, that's all we have time for today. As always, please know I don't speak on behalf of NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, honored to be here another day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.